go ahead and kneel all the way back. It's nice and comfortably. Some breaths are starting to flow for us. Beautiful inhales. Nice long exhales. We just passed the fall equinox. So from this point, the days are getting shorter, colder, darker. In the Chinese Meridian System, each season has different meridians that they recommend focusing on. The meridian pair for this season, heading into autumn, is the lung, the large intestine meridian pair. So this especially makes sense thinking of the lungs and how this time of year tends to be the cold and flu season, the beginning of it. And so the idea is by working on this meridian pair, we're able to help to just add more energy to our body, help to kind of, I think of it like gutters, like when the gutters get full of leaves, they don't flow as well. So it's like that in our body. We're clearing out the gutters so that way our body's able to be supported in the best way possible. So that meridian pair is what we're focusing on today. If you were to pull up a map of what it looks like, essentially both of these meridian pairs start off at the hands, at the fingertips, and they travel up the arms, up the shoulders, and then down to one to the lung, one to the large meridian, the large intestine area. So you'll notice as we focus larger than in other classes, perhaps on this arm, shoulder, and the wrist area, as we open up all of these areas, that's kind of the hose that we're unclogging. So just imagine, even mentally, clearing out that area as we travel through. So with this to help lead us on, let's begin with the knees coming into chest. A hand on each knee, just rock around nice and lightly. This is a chance for us to tune in with how the back of our body feels on the ground. So maybe your hips are communicating with you, maybe it's higher up to shoulders. We'll take an easy twist, both arms spread open to each side, the knees fall over to left. And the goal here isn't just to feel it in the hips or just in the spine, but to travel all the way up into sensation in the right arm. So that means that if you're not feeling anything yet, slide your right hand further to the right until you feel sensation starting to open up that area. Sensation through the muscles, the fascia, trying to open up all of that. We'll be talking about different ways that we work with the meridians, and think of it like different ways that we can unclog a pipe or a hose. One way is to beat on it to kind of shake with the vibrations all the gunk loose. So that's like these asanas, the movements, the flowing that we'll be doing. Another way is to take your mouth to the end of the hose and blow to try to force some of that out. So that's like this deep breathing we're doing throughout. And finally, the thoughts that we have. I believe that even that is like water flowing through it, that the water can clog it up or unclog it. So now let's start to lift the knees up. We'll travel to the other side. The knees over to the right. The left arm is our focus now. So if you're not feeling sensation up the arm, continue to slide the hand a little further to left. And I would say another thing to think about is how our stress maybe is like adding a kink to the hose. The water literally can't flow out of it anymore if it's kinked up. So by us releasing our stress, by us taking care of some of these chronic tight areas, imagine that that's just yet another way that we're relieving the pressure off of the meridians, clearing them out. Let's take 3 more conscious deep breaths, just clearing out the holes with blowing. And from here, the knees start to rise back up. Take right ankle onto left thigh. Spread arms around the left. That's a nice, just gentle opening hip stretch. You'll notice hips and shoulders are pretty well connected. When one is completely off, usually the other responds by being off as well. So either stay right here or continue to straighten the left leg up and try to walk the hands up as high up that leg as you can. If you are reaching all the way for the foot, perhaps take a moment to push the foot into the hands so that the arms are being pushed forward, shoulder blades rounding forward, space in between shoulder blades opening. If you did the arm thing, relax that. So now let's focus on hamstring for a couple of breaths. And we'll release, uncross, recross with left. Just a simple hug at first. It gives a couple of really good breaths for that left hip to start opening. Option to straighten right leg. Start walking the hands up that side as high as possible. Maybe do the arm thing. Push the foot into the hands so the hands are being forced forward a little bit. If you do that, relax. Back to focus on just the hamstring. Beautiful. So release. The feet uncross and plant close to glutes. A few bridge poses. Hands are on the floor by the hips. Inhale, roll the hips up. Spine rolls up 1 vertebrae at a time. Exhale, roll, reverse all the way back down. Roll up. Exhale down. Massaging these end points of the meridian pair. Take another 3. 2. 1. Stay lifted. If hands can clasp under the back, clasp. Walk the shoulder blades even closer together. Pull the front of the chest open. And hands release. Relax the shoulders, return the hips down, slide the legs forward, all the way long. Right ankle crosses on top of left ankle. Slide the legs to the left. Up above head, grab right wrist, slide the shoulders to the left. The big banana stretch. So push into the shoulder, or sorry, into the wrist and ankle connections. We're stretching up the side ribs, up the shoulder, up the arm. What this is especially good at is stretching intercostal muscles. You imagine if those intercostals get really cramped up and tight, it makes it so the lungs only have so much space they can expand outward with the ribs. Another huge breath in and out. Good. Release, uncross, left ankle over, slide to the right. Grab left wrist, slide to the right. And then push against ankle and wrist connections. Another breath in and out. Good. Release. Recenter the legs. Inhale, arms reach up overhead. Exhale, the arms lift up. We roll the spine up. Try to stretch all the way up and over to the toes. And then just stay in that stretch for the back and up through the shoulders. Re-straighten the spine back up. Circling through the side. Inhale up. Exhale right back down. Take another 4. 3. This one's one of those banging on the pipes things, just adding nice movement, nice flow. 2. Exhale back up. 1. And lean back forward. Rising up, the feet slide into cobbler's pose. As we travel forward with the spine, the goal of this one is to especially accentuate the rounding forward of the shoulders so that as we tilt forward, we're really trying to stretch that spot right in between shoulder blades. If ever it feels like you want to go deeper, re-straighten the spine from the low back, tilt forward a bit more, and then again, accentuate the space in between shoulder blades. Spine raises up. The feet can stay or slip to easy cross-legged if that's what you need to sit tall for a moment. And then we place the forearms together. We round the spine up again a little bit forward with our exhale. With our inhale, the elbows open, chest arches forward. Good. Another 4. 3. 2. And 1. Beautiful. Sitting back upright, the legs open out wide. Knees can be bent if needed to stay to at least start sitting up. Right hand drops in on the floor in front of right leg. Left hand reaches up and over. Try to keep this arm as straight as possible so it pulls those side ribs into the stretch again. Turn down so that one hand is surrounding each side of this right leg. Walk the hands into rise. Left hand plants in front of left leg, right arm reaches up and over. And drop one hand to surround each side of the leg, moving forward. Over the left leg. Walking in, slide the hands forward. And as we start to rise up, same as before, if sitting here nice and tall is easy, stay, otherwise easy cross leg. The hands come out in front of you. We slowly let the fingers tip all the way down, curl in as much as they can, and then reverse. Flex up and pull back as much as they can. Take that a few rounds, curl in, flex up and back. Another 3. 2. 1. Beautiful. Clasping hands together. Pull the left hand closer so that this brings that right wrist into a stretch forward. Switch it out. So now left wrist is the stretch. And as you unwind from that, flip the hands around, and it'll be same thing. Right hand pulls, left hand pulls closer, so right wrist is in the stretch. And switch. Release, roll the wrists out. And let's head to hands and knees. We'll take a few cat-cows. So with your breath, with our exhales, we round up with that Halloween cat. Inhale, belly drops down. One more. And leaving the spine at neutral, walk the hands forward, puppy pose. Sometimes forehead down feels best for puppy. Some people can continue to arch the heart down so much that flipping to the chin being down feels better. So personal preference. But do allow the upper back to be in a nice arch. Shoulders opening. Maybe traveling all the way down to the fingertips. Start to walk the hands backwards so that you travel into a child's pose. Rolling the spine up. Rise up nice and high. Plant the right foot to the right. And 3 times we're going to try to lunge and lean to that right side as much as we can. And come back. 2. And 1. Good. Straighten the right leg out. Slide the right hand down that leg. Left hand reaches up and over. Raising up. Plant the hands down in front of you. Lower to elbows. And if you still need more sensation of the stretch on the inner thigh, keep on walking your elbows closer to right leg. Planting the hands. This right foot continues to circle its way up to the center of the mat. From here, we go back and forth a few rounds between pushing the hips forward. Try not to let the knee go too far forward of toes. And then straighten the leg back. So follow this with your breath. Inhales and exhales. 1 for each. One more cycle. And then leave it with a straight leg. Just stretch through that hamstring. Now planting this right foot, tuck the back toes and then rotate that heel down so the feet are in warrior 1 position. From here, circle the arms up. Front knee is bent, warrior 1. But then we'll circle through the arms. So as we're circling the hands back, let the backs of the hands face each other as long as they possibly can. And then forward. Some hands are like magnets, they're trying to stay together, and then they have to circle. 3 more. 2. 1. And then reverse. Circle backwards again. The magnet tries to touch as soon as it. Flip back. 4. 3. 2. 1. Hands at the hips, straighten the front leg. Bow forward, trying to keep the hips square. When you get about halfway down, maybe hands walk to the shins or back to floor. We'll transition to standing split. So as we transition our weight forward, our hands belt forward on the floor. Our left leg tries to rise as high as it possibly can. This can be a great spot to stop at, or sometimes we'll play with balance, walking the hands closer and closer to the heel, or even wrapping one or both hands around the back of the calf. Good. We're transitioning to a seated place from here. So think of the left knee, the one that's floating, trying to come to the outside of that right foot. And then you sit your hips back. Good. Taking a twist, left hand or left elbow hook around the right knee. You straighten the spine up and twist. Beautiful. Facing forward, if a knee stack is possible, you'll slide both heels close. The possible means both sitting bones are down. So if that's not happening, switch to shin stack or even cross leg. And then let yourself lean forward over the legs. Spine rises up. Keep the legs back behind you. Come to kneeling plank or full plank. Shift the shoulders forward with the fingertips. Squeeze the elbows into lower down chaturanga. Beautiful. Sphinx. Elbows are underneath us. Left hand swivels in. Right hand grabs right toes. If the quad stretch is pretty easy, you can also get into a shoulder stretch by then trying to square the shoulders back forward. Release this side. Second side, grab your left foot, pull it in. And again, if that's pretty doable, square the shoulders back. Release, child pose or down dog. Down to kneeling. We're rising the spine up high, plant the left foot to the left. Deep lunge for 3, 2, 1. Straighten the leg. Slide the left hand down the left leg. Right hand reaches up and over. Rising up, plant the hands and then the elbows in front of you. If you need more, continue to walk elbows closer to the straight leg. Plant the hands. Circle the left foot up to the center top of the mat. And follow your breath. Inhale, lunge forward. Exhale, straight leg, lean forward. Last one. Stay at the spot where the leg is straight. Plant the foot. The front leg is bent. Lift up the back knee, rotate that foot down. Legs are in warrior one position, arms circle up. And circle back, around and forward. 4, 3, 2, 1. Reverse. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Beautiful. Straightening the front leg, square the hips forward, and start to lean forward. The halfway point, walk hands down shin or drop to floor. Transitioning to standing split, bump the hands forward, float the right leg high. An option if you wanted to play with balance, that's great. If not, no worries. Remember, the gaze is what helps the balance more than anything else. The funky transition down, right knee comes to outside of left foot, and then sit the hips back. Spine is tall, have right hand or right elbow around the knee, and twist. Release. If the knee stack is possible, slide the feet in, otherwise shin stack or cross leg. And rising spine up. Legs come back behind us. Optional flow if you'd like. Chaturanga, upward tilting dog, down dog. Otherwise, just child pose or down dog is fine. Knees lowered down. The right hand floats up to the sky. Full wrist circle clockwise and counterclockwise. And then thread the right shoulder all the way to ground. So eventually we'll end up with this being more of an arm stretch, but to start off, we're going to play with a little bit of a leg balance if you wish. So the leg balance would be left toe slide to the back of the mat, the leg is straight, and then option to float that leg up. The floating is not necessary if that's going to throw you off balance. If you're floating, great. One more breath. And then return the toes, return the knee. Now the left hand slides forward to the top of mat and then walks up toward the top of right corner. Opening up the chest, stretching the shoulders and the spine nicely. Return left hand in front of face, press into it. Plant both hands, take a cat and a cow. The neutral spine, left hand floats up. Full wrist circle clockwise, counterclockwise. Thread the arm under and through. Optional leg balance, right toe slide to the back. Maybe the heel floats. One more breath. The toes return down, then the knee. Right hand slides up to top of mat and inches its way toward top left. Return the hand in front of face, press into it. A cat and a cow. Up the toes, downward facing dog. Traveling up to top of mat. Inhale, circle the arms up to rise, slight back bend, hands to heart. Eagle, right elbow under. Try to wind the palms if possible. So starting with just the shoulder part, the shoulders push down away from ears, and then elbows lift up a little bit. Just breathe into that. Let's see. Staying here is fine. Sitting hips back like fierce pose is fine. Or full eagle, right leg wraps over. Left leg straightens up, right knee floats. Take right leg back like a variation of warrior 3. And then softly land that leg, warrior 1, elbows lift. Unwind the elbows and reach the fingertips up. Imagine you're grabbing onto something, hold down until elbows slowly touch the waist. Good. 2 more. And hold. 1. And hold. Good. Fingertips float back up. And then clasp hands behind the back. Bow forward, pulling the arms into the shoulders, stretch behind. Planting the hands down at the top of the mat, hop up onto the back toes. We'll float into 3-legged dog, this left leg rising up high. Try to keep that leg floating as we shift to plank. And then lower chaturanga. Right arm slides up to the right. Right cheek is down. Press into the left hand. Basically, you're trying to press as far as you need to get the right shoulder into the stretch. That might require hip stacking, shoulder stacking, or even the top leg planting behind you. You don't have to go to any of those spots. It's only as far as your shoulder needs. And hips down, slide left arm to the left cheek down. The same thing, second side. Maybe hip stack, maybe shoulder stacks, maybe top leg plants behind. And belly down. Put the hands under the shoulders. Baby cobra or full. Up the toes, lift the hips, downward facing dog. Traveling up to top of mat. Inhale, rise. Exhale, hands down to heart. Left elbow winds under. Shoulders push down, elbows lift up. Yeah, if the palms don't wind, you can either grab for thumbs or place the backs of hands, whatever works. Yeah. Staying here is fine. Fierce pose sit is fine, or left leg winds over. Elbows left. Release, reaching up high, grab, pull down, 3, 2, 1. Float back up. Clasp behind back. Bow forward, arm stretch behind you. Planting the hands, up onto the back toes. Right leg swings back, 3-legged dog. Perhaps try plank with the legs staying floating if possible. Or chaturanga. Think, elbows under the shoulders. The hands swivel in right in front. And then start to walk the hands off to each of their sides. So right hand walks to left hand walks to right. We're trying to stretch the back of shoulder, maybe even in between shoulder blades. If you're not there, bump the elbows forward another inch. As you rest the head down, make sure to tuck the chin a little bit first so you have lots of space to breathe in through. Okay. Walk the elbows in, switch it out left and front, and walk back out. Same setup. If you need to bump forward a little bit, that's fine. Tuck the chin. That's walk the elbows in, push back, child pose. Walk the hands off the top right corner. Walk the hands off the left edge. And back to the middle. Up onto all fours. Turn the thumbs so that you're rotating the hands as much as possible. Maybe thumbs get all the way to the sides, fingertips pointing to the thighs. If this is intense, walk the hands closer to your thighs. If you want to go deeper, walk the hands forward or shift the hips back. And come up high kneeling for a moment, circle the hands out. Good, we'll try to go back into it, this time tucking the fingers this way, placing the back of the hand down. But kind of same thing, if you need it to be easier, walk closer to your legs. Harder is walking forward or sinking the hips back. High, circle the leg, the arms out. Make a set. Same thing as before, right leg on top. Perhaps cross leg, perhaps the knee stack. Right hand goes to the base of neck, left hand goes from under. Try to see if you can connect the dots. If not, just grab 2 points of your shirt and sit up nice and tall. One last beautiful shoulder stretch for this area. You can stay here the whole time, about a minute or so. You can tilt forward to make it more intense. Or if you just want to release at any point, you can release and lean forward like we did earlier. Personal choice, just a little bit longer, a few more good breaths. And release. Circle the arms out, just kind of shake it, loose it. And switch the legs, left on top, left arm on top. Usually there's one side that's way better than the other, and that's okay. Breathe into whatever's happening on this side. Same option, stay, tilt, or release at any point, lean forward. More breaths, keep them deep and full, lungs completely expanding. Release, drop to easy cross leg, clasp hands behind back. Yeah, you can shake out the arms too, that's okay. Clasp hands behind back, shift hands to right hip or right waist, and then right ear drops to right shoulder. Ease into that neck. One more beautiful time here. Head rises, switch. Hands go to left hip or left waist, left ear to left shoulder. Head rises. If there's any last stretches you need, take them. Otherwise, whenever you feel ready, sooner or later, we'll be in Shavasana. Good. Take all the time you need. Shavasana is that beautiful restful pose we do at the end. So the body can just relax. Nice and comfortable, kind of like how we began, or any variation. Now, as some are closer to Shavasana than others, I don't want you to feel rushed, but I'll start to chat about what we're focusing on Shavasana today. Whenever you're restful, laying back, we remember back to when we talked about kinking the hose, how that forces, makes it so that the water cannot come out of the hose. That's like our stress. So what we're going to do mentally, ourselves, self-guided, is start at the toes. And if there's any stress you can find, release it. Then piece by piece, you'll work your way up your body, up the feet, eventually up the legs, torso, arms, eventually up to the shoulders, neck, head. Release all the stress out of your body piece by piece. So that it's like if any kinks are in our hose, if that's what the issue is, we can take that stress, let it melt right out of the body. Let that breath deep and full happen. Got a few beautiful minutes here. Here we begin to deepen our inhales. Deepen our exhales. Introduce little movements back to the body. Out in ways that feel really good. Perhaps eventually a fetal position if that feels nice for you today. Another breath or two, eventually rising up to a comfortable seated place when you're ready, sooner or later. Eventually bringing hands to the heart, we reconnect back to our intention. These two simple meridians traveling up the arms to the lungs and large intestine, allowing these to remain healthy and open, support us in our system as we're traveling into this autumn season of the year. Staying healthy, staying strong, staying vibrant with our energy so we can support others as well. So with all this to help lead us on, let's wrap up the time we got to share together today with the sound of Om. Deep inhale now. May we be filled with light and happiness and peace. Namaste.